My name is Jeff Swat, and I am tonight's Shabbat leader for my part during the summer. I wanted to start with a quote I found by the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidism. And in the parlance of someone speaking about Shabbat from the Hasidic community in Eastern Europe on Shabbos, we get an extra divine soul which gives us great spiritual satisfaction in Torah study and prayer. Hence, when we do so, it elevates all the Torah study and prayer we did during the week. God gave us the Shabbos, so we should be able to have a free day to ascend through Torah study and prayer. And I'd like to start off by saying I have a little tickle in my throat. Not sure if it's from the fire. I was at Chico yesterday with my family, and there's a huge fire up there. So maybe some particulate matter got in my lungs. I don't know, but I have a cough now. I'm not sick, but I might do that every once in a while. And also, oh, thank you. Yes, perfect. Thank you. And also, there'll be a couple of changes to the order of service as we come to them. Just a couple of changes that I realized that I had forgotten some things when I sent the list to Jenny Jeffrey, but no problem, we'll include them. I'd like to have you all turn to the top of page 128 to start off with Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. And now I'd like to invite Ella and Max to light the Shabbat candles on page 128. Please stand. Like 3 circles. Your hands and cover our eyes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Now I invite you to turn to page 138 for Lacha Dodi. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, as usual. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el Am Yuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, L'Shem Ol Tiferet V'Lihila. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, P'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, P'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'neilcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat achila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri shir daberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam besimcha uvatzahola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please keep standing for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayetecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, uvizman kariv, v'imaru, Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, La'alam u'al me'almaya, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitalev, v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha, La'elo min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma, v'imaru. Amen. Please turn to page 146. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach, le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. We'll continue on page 148. We'll read Hamariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechochma poteach sha'arim, uvitfuna meshaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, sader et hakochavim, b'mishmiratehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uvmitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, v'ahavatecha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Please rise for the Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. We continue on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kadoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Please turn to page 158 for Micha Mocha. I had to ask my daughter earlier today, because I'm in the band, right? And so I think there's probably 20 versions of Micha Mocha that we do. And I couldn't remember this particular one, and I had to ask her for help. And she was luckily able to help me. I think I got it. I think I remembered it, and not trying to go back to like a Rick Wrecked version or something like that. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar ba'kodesh, no ratahilot o seifele, no ratahilot o seifele, malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Bokei yam lifnei Moshe ur Miriam ze Elianu v'amaru Adonai imloch Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. And what's not on the handout that I forgot to include is Yismechu on page 162. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shavi'i Shabbat. Kulam Yisba'u V'yitangu Mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu V'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh, lema'aseh v'reishi Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh, lema'aseh v'reishi Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Now please rise. We turn to page 164 with Amidah. I'm going to switch microphones. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiya gitehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, V'zocher haste avot v'imahot, U'mevi ge'ula livnei v'neihem, L'man shemo b'ahava, Ba'alech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atah Rav l'Hoshia. Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, melech memid, umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'kol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, Utefilatam B'ahava Tikabel, Utehile Ratzon, Tamid Avodat Yisrael, Yisrael Amecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, She'otecha levadecha ba'yirah navod, navod, navod. Please turn to page 178, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. So I didn't put this on this either because I didn't know I was going to do a devar until today. But I'm going to do a quick little devar, a couple minutes, just to say something about this week's portion. So this week's portion, as the handout says, is Pinchas. It covers Numbers 25, chapter 25, verse 10 through chapter 30, verse 1. Parshat Pinchas picks up in the middle of a story that had begun in the prior parsha. Pinchas, the grandson of Aharon, or Aaron, through his son Eleazar, has just committed a shocking act of zealotry. When Pinchas saw an Israelite man who was publicly consorting with a Midianite princess, he killed them both, putting a spear through both their hearts. When we read this in the previous parsha, there is no commentary about whether Pinchas did a good thing or a bad thing. Did Moses or Aaron approve? Did God approve? Was Pinchas to be condemned as a violent murderer or lauded for defending the honor of God? But in this week's parsha, we find out the answer to that question. We read that God says, quote, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon the Kohen, has turned my anger away from the children of Israel by his zealousy avenging me among them, so that I did not destroy the children of Israel because of my zeal. Therefore say, I hereby give him my covenant of peace. It shall be for him and for his descendants after him an eternal covenant of kahuna, because he was zealous for his God and atoned for the children of Israel. So we learn that God apparently wholeheartedly approves of Pinchas's act of murder and gives him a great reward, the promise of kahuna, or the priesthood, for him and all of his descendants. But this obviously leaves us with some uncomfortable questions. Does that mean that the Torah encourages zealotry? Are we supposed to act like Pinchas did? And when we see modern-day zealots who engage in violence to achieve their aims, are they to be lauded as well? Now, rabbis have grappled with these questions where they try to understand what it was about Pinchas's act that God liked so much, and to draw a much-needed line between good acts of zealotry and bad ones. After the saga of Pinchas concludes, the Torah goes on to tell us about another census of the people, this one conducted by Eleazar, Pinchas's father. Totals are given for each of the tribes, with the grand total of Israelite men 20 years of age and up being 601,730. And this is a decrease of 1,820 from the census conducted in Numbers chapter 1. Just as with the first census, the tribe of Levi, numbering about 23,000, is not counted with the rest of the nation, Moses assigns portions of the land of Israel to each tribe based on its count. Levi is not allotted any land, as they will service God in the Beit HaMikdash, or the Holy Temple. You may find yourself wondering, why is it so important to count the people? I can see counting them once, but why do it over and over again? Is there some more lofty spiritual significance to the notion of counting? And if so, what is it? And I don't have the answer. I'm just asking questions. In the course of Moses assigning portions of land to each tribe and to each family within each tribe, a fascinating drama ensues. The 5 daughters of one particular man named Tzalafchad approaches Moses, and they contest the laws of land inheritance. They explain to Moses that their father died without a son. Traditionally, when someone would die, the land would be passed to the oldest son, but Tzalafchad had no sons and only 5 daughters. So shouldn't his daughters be able to inherit his plot? Shouldn't his land remain in his immediate family? I think so. Moses brings their petition before God, and God grants it. God revises the laws of inheritance, not merely making an exception for the daughters of Tzalafchad, but decreeing that for all future generations, the daughters of sonless fathers will be able to inherit. And this is in contrast to other biblical and Tanaic stories in which people approached God with their appeals, but were rejected. And why did God take so positively to this request? I don't know. It's easier just to ask the question, not, answer it. What we read about next is a short but dramatic and poignant story. God tells Moses to ascend to the top of Mount Avarim that overlooks the promised land, and explains that Moses will die before being able to enter. This is Moses' punishment for having disobeyed God when back when the Israelites were in the desert of Zin, for Moses had struck a rock instead of speaking to it to produce water. Moses pleads with God to appoint a successor to lead the people in his stead, and God identifies Yehoshua ben Nun, or Joshua, as the one for the job. The Parsha concludes with a review of the laws of communal sacrifices, the morning and afternoon everyday offerings, as well as those offered on Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, the Passover sacrifice, Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Shemini Atzeret. Along with the list of holidays and festivals, there are reminders of what to do short summaries of what to do on these. For example, it says you will bring a certain number of bulls and rams on the first day of Passover, but remember that the entire week of Passover, you're not going to eat unleavened bread. Or on the day of the sounding of the horn, you're going to sound the horn, and you're going to bring me animals for sacrifice as well. And also, it reminds us to honor Yom Kippur, the practice of self-denial. That's a summary of this week's portion called Pinchas. Right now, I would like to read off the list of names for Mishaberach. So please turn to page 371. And we will pray for healing for following. Janice Schulman, Sandy Lewin, Meredith Rosenberg, Jerry Steinke, Bill Roselle, Mark Snyder, Mitch Phillips, Carla Gilmore, Joan Markoff, Lisa Malkin, Mary Hansen, Norma Gomez, Frank Hatton, Don Cordano, Nir Peled, Bart Willis, Dan Lee, Robin Moore, Beryl Schwartz, Roan Burnham, and Bruce Silverman. Is there anyone else who want to pray healing for in this room? Anyone on Zoom or YouTube? In the middle of page 371, we keep these names in our hearts when we pray. Misheberach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I know it says announcements next, but let's do the prayers for our country and Israel first, and then we'll do announcements. So please turn to page 376. And together, O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. On the next page, a prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu shebashamayim, tzur Yisrael v'go'alo, barech et medinat Yisrael, reshit tzmichat ge'ulatenu. Hagen aleha be'evrat chasdecha, ufros aleha sukat shlomecha, ushlach orcha v'anmitcha l'rasheha, sareha v'yuatzeha. V'taknem be'etza tova milfanecha, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam liyoshveha v'nomar. Amen. Announcements. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Ella Rohde. I'm one of the co-presidents here at CBS. Thank you to Jeff Swap for leading tonight's service and doing it so well. And a big shout out to tonight's security coverage for keeping us all safe. We also want to thank this week's ONEG sponsors, Dave and Roberta Malkin. Torah study will be on Zoom tomorrow at 9 a.m. and you can find the link on our website. You can also find the 2024-25 Teruma forms in the foyer. If you have not yet done so, please grab one on your way out and consider your pledge for this coming fiscal year and return the form to our administrator, Jenny Jeffrey. Also in the foyer, our new membership packets can be found for any of those here tonight interested in learning more about becoming a CBS member. You can also refer to your handout for some of these upcoming events. Next week, join us back here on August 2nd for Shabbat service at 6 p.m. led by Bob Bennett. On Friday, August 16th, we'll have our annual Welcome Back potluck dinner and service. You can also find a flyer in the foyer for the upcoming comedy night and CBS fundraiser at Laughs Unlimited on Thursday, August 22nd. This event is sure to be a blast, and due to a generous donor, all ticket sales will be 100% profit to CBS. Details about the comedians can be found on tonight's handout. There is also a lovely women's retreat scheduled for September with more information in the foyer. And last but certainly not least, we are now accepting orders for the food fair. Join us on Sunday, September 15th for the 47th annual food fair. More information can be found on the food fair flyer, including sponsorship opportunities and ordering information, both in your handout as well as additional flyers in the foyer. Please refer to the handout for new group baking dates here in the CBS kitchen, along with opportunities to bake at home. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, let us rise and turn to page 586 for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kokiyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegoraleinu kachol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shemayim v'yosed haaretz, uvmoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushechinatu zo, v'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes zulato, Kakatuv b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim mima'al v'al haaretz mitachat ein od V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu. Please be seated. On this day, we remember our loved ones and friends who have died within the past 11 months. Cecile Kentworth Kaplan, Brett Tensono, Arthur Buden Grohl, Theodore Dwight Bunce, Maxwell M. Freeman, Melinda Foreman, Ellen Sandler, Ruth Lander, Wade Al-Fayoum, Sonny Eisen, Allison Green Braverman, Eleanor Love, Rochelle Joy Pollock, Evelyn Gurov, William Bourne, Richard Bruce Lieberman, Louise Bourne, Carolyn Wismiller, Michael Saperstein, Dr. Benjamin Haruni, David Harris, Marjorie Blum, Ron Bauchman, Norm Jacobs, Lori Serkin, Penny Clark, Sandra Ann Haslett, Edward Edelstein, Karen Oakley, Joyce Wheel, Anthony McSock, Ann Eisenberg, S. George Ezekiel. And we also remember the anniversary of those who have passed in years ago. Rosalind Berry, Eric Black, Leonard Victor Finder, Anna Gross, Adrian Pizer Nathan, Abe J. Posca, Abraham Allen Rome, Richard Schneeberger, Wilda Schwartz, Eileen Slanhoff, Joshua Steinberg, Jeffrey Steinke, and Harry Stern. Are there any other recent deaths or yahrzeits that should be honored today? Any names on Zoom? We all rise together as one community on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah ba'alama divra chirute v'amlich malchute b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach la'alam u'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha barichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imaru. Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'Imaru. Amen. Please be seated. For a closing song, I chose Oseh Shalom, another one where there's several dozen melodies that I've played here. Page 180. I think I can remember the traditional one that we all know. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. And we'll have an oneg there. All right. In the social hall. Okay.